Welcome onto the field here at Research Stadium as we get prepped for the Oregon State and Stanford football game right here just after 7 p.m. on the Orange Media Network football preview. I'm Josh Worden, play-by-play voice for KBVR. To my left is Brenden Slaughter, the color commentator and sports director. And to my right, Brian Rathbone, the sports editor for the Daily Barometer. So, Oregon State in its Pac-12 opener facing the number 21 team in the nation might need a lot of offense in this game against the Cardinals. So, Brian, what are three things we're looking for tonight when the Oregon State offense is on the field?
Well, Josh, the first thing that the offense is going to have to do is they're going to need to stay on the field. Against Michigan, who's built very similar to Stanford, they only ran 16 plays in the second half, and Michigan ran away with that game. For Oregon State to have success offensively, they're going to need to stay on the field. They're going to need to sustain drives and, give the defense a break, every once in a while. They can do this by winning at the line of scrimmage. During the 5-game losing streak against Stanford, Oregon State has let Stanford sack them 24 times and have only rushed for 216 yards. If they're going to have a chance to win, they need to win the game in the trenches. And finally, they're going to need to continue to win the turnover battle.
That's going to be pretty key for Oregon State offense. Switching over to the defense, Oregon State did not allow any points in the second half against San Jose State last week right here in Corvallis. So as we look at the Stanford squad coming in, Brenden, what are three things we're looking for the Oregon State defense tonight?
Well, for starters, Josh, I had a chance to catch up with defensive coordinator Kalani Sitake this week, and we talked about how Stanford presents a very similar problem offensively as Michigan, the style of play that they have. And he said, unlike Michigan, the players cannot revert back to old tackling habits. These old tackling habits showed in the second half against Michigan. They were making arm tackles. They weren't making the plays that Kalani Sitake knew they were going to make. And he said, honestly, Oregon State's played one bad half of defense all season long. If they can make that one bad half an anomaly and play the way that they're supposed to, I don't see a reason as to why Oregon State can't be successful in this game. But they have to meet Stanford's physicality. They cannot try to wrap up Stanford's playmakers with arm tackles. Secondly, Oregon State's got to try to get pressure on whoever is at quarterback for the Cardinal. Kevin Hogan, the 4-year starter, the number 2 career win percentage in the active players in the FBS right now, doubtful today with a high ankle sprain, been limited all week. If he goes, then Stanford's going to go with a normal offense. Oregon State has not got a lot of pressure on the quarterback this season. That's going to be a way to disrupt Stanford's offense. They like to physical you. And if Hogan cannot go, one of the worst things that a true freshman or redshirt freshman can do is come into an atmosphere that's going to be loud like Research Stadium is tonight and come in and try to execute a very difficult pro-style offense. If Oregon State can put pressure on whoever does take quarterback for Stanford, look for them to have success there. And finally, I look for Oregon State's linebackers to continue their very stout play. So far this season, Roma Magnow and Manasseh Hunglu have been both very good playmakers. They've kept Oregon State's defense stout overall. They've made that so ball carriers don't get to the second level, and they've really kind of been the swagger of the defense, so to speak. And they played with like an unstoppable mentality, with the exception of just one half. And if Oregon State's linebackers can play up to their billing, obviously they're playing a very tough team tonight. If they can play like they're capable of, I don't see a reason as to why Oregon State can't pull out the victory tonight, Josh.
Alrighty. So Oregon State at 2-1, just like Stanford, also with 2 wins in the opening loss to Northwestern. Before this game, let's get some quick score predictions. Brian, you're up first.
I see this game very similar to the game they played at Michigan. Fortunately for the Beavers, this game is at home, and they've already played against Michigan, so that they are used to the kind of that physical style of play. Unfortunately for the Beavers, I still see this game trending towards that Michigan game, where it's a defensive battle for a couple quarters, but then ultimately I see Stanford, overpowering the Beavers, in the end and rolling to a 24-14 victory.
24-14 in favor of Stanford. Brenden, what are your thoughts?
I see this as like Brian said, I see a lot of parallels between Michigan. I think Oregon State's learned their lesson from this Michigan game. I think Friday night, the student section's back for Oregon State. There's a lot of positive momentum after that San Jose State game. I look for Oregon State to come out, set the tone early. Stanford will struggle offensively. The Beavers will struggle offensively. It'll be a low-scoring affair. I'm saying I'll go with 20-14 Oregon State in this victory.
OSU pulling it out in the first Pac-12 matchup under Gary Anderson. I still think it's going to be low scoring. I don't see Oregon State scoring a lot. I'm going to say 20-9 in favor of the Cardinal. But if Oregon State can get the running game going, I can see them making it close, even pulling out the victory. So for Brian Rathbone, Brenden Slaughter, I'm Josh Worden. Thanks for watching the Orange Media Network Football Preview.